Hey, welcome back, Paramedic to RN family. Just wanted to say I appreciate your comments and the questions. A couple of the questions came in, and I wanted to take time to offer a little bit of mentorship, if you don't mind. What I wanted to talk about was your plan for nursing school. This is some of the stuff that I do when I'm not on the podcast to people who I know that want to go to nursing school, and they sit me down and they want to know what's the best way to go. So I will take some time to give a little bit more insight on what I normally tell some of these individuals. Some of this I've addressed on previous podcasts, but most of the time when I'm sitting down, people want to know what's the best route or what's the best route for them. I would just want to talk about your plan because everyone's plan is different, but it really depends on three factors. Factor number one is going to be your current education. Number two is going to be your finances. And three is going to be your location. So let me get into this a little bit more. So a bridge is not your only option. A paramedic to RN bridge is not going to be your only option. It may not even be your best option, but it's just an option. So let's talk about number one, your current education. So do you have a Con Ed, a certificate for paramedic? Do you have an associate's degree in EMS? Do you have a bachelor's degree? Do you have a master's degree? All of that is important. For example, if you have a bachelor's degree, you can do an accelerated BSN as a better option than it would be just to go to a paramedic to RN bridge. Because if you take that year, you can come out with a bachelor's degree in that 1 year than you can with an associate's degree in that same year. So that's taking consideration of your current education. I think I've already addressed that in a previous podcast, like BSN versus an ABSN or paramedic to RN bridge versus an ADN. I hit on some of this when I talked about your education. Number two is going to be your finances. How long can you sustain in your household? How long can you live? For example, can you go without working for a year? Do you have to supplement? What about your household bills? Can you go PRN and still pay your household bills? How much money do you have saved? If you have low finances, maybe you can do a bridge and drop your hours to PRN. That way, in 1 year, you can come out. And as an RN, you can at least start working as an RN and then just go ahead and just knock your bachelor's out part-time. That's an option. A lot of people do that. I mean, that's what I did. I went to a paramedic RN bridge ADN program for a year or so. I was able to work as a nurse while I finished out my bachelor's part-time. Also, your location. What are your options? Do you have any community colleges that are in your area? Number two, do you have any universities that are in your area? Three, do you have any paramedic to RN bridges that are in your area? All that is going to play a big part, because if you have a community college that doesn't have a paramedic to RN program, then you could go that route and get your ADN. Also, a paramedic to RN bridge, where are the nearest one? Is it 2 hours away? Is it 1 hour away? Is it down the street? Is it 5 hours away? Also, if you don't have a lot of money, then maybe the community college route would be your best option. And then again, you can work PRN, or maybe you can even grind it out still working full time. So with those three elements in mind, now you're going to have to start formulating a plan. So what I do is I share mine, and you can see how all of these three pieces went together for me. So keep in mind, my original plan was PA school. And I made this decision in 2017 that I was going to start tracking towards PA. Now, mind you, I was already a paramedic and I was a Con Ed paramedic. I did not have an associate's degree. Con Ed classes is the only thing I had. So my original plan for PA school was to get my associate's degree in EMS. Then I was going to get my bachelor's degree in EMS from Western Carolina. Then after that, I was going to start looking at what classes I had and start making that track to apply to PA school. That was my track. Now, the whole time, my goal was to save a little bit of money along the way. So then that way, when I get to PA school, I can make the decision, do I need to take out a bunch of student loans, or can I just take out enough loan money to go to school, but yet live off my saved money? That's kind of my track. That's the way I was thinking. So keep in mind, I started prepping early. So as a con ed medic, what I did was I went with my plan. I went and got my associate's degree in EMS. Right when I finished was the time that I made the deviation from PA school to nursing. So my deviation plan, I looked for paramedic to RN bridges that were in my area. There were none in my area. There was a slew of community colleges, but there were no paramedic to RN bridges. The nearest bridge was an hour and a half away, and it was 3 of them. And they were all hour and a half. I think it was one that was like 4 or 5 hours away, which was ridiculous. So what I did was I called all the local community colleges in my area to see which one, were they about to start bridges? Do they have one but just didn't announce it? Do they have any type of special entry for paramedics? And basically, no. So I looked at all 3 bridges and I looked at which one I was more qualified for, that I didn't have to take any additional classes. I narrowed it down to one. So I started prepping for the nursing entrance exam. Lo and behold, of course, I got in. After I got in, I went to my job and said, hey, I'm getting ready to start nursing school. I need to drop from full-time to PRN. Now, keep in mind, they originally told me, yeah, Reggie, we know you're looking at nursing school, we can do that. Well, they came and said, no, they couldn't. They kind of threw a monkey glitch in. And I was really upset about that. But again, I had to deviate. So what I did was I quit that job, wound up getting 2 PRN jobs, along with the money that I had been saving since 2017, 2018, I was able to start nursing school in 2020. And I had just enough to supplement my bills along with those 2 PRN jobs. So one of the things I want to tell you is that you always may have to deviate from your plan, but you have to stick with your plan. Of course, it's almost like driving from North Carolina to New York. You're on the highway going towards your goal. You may have to get off at an exit. You may have to get gas. You may have to get food, or you may get a flat tire on the way. If you get a flat tire on the way, change the tire and keep going. If you run out of gas, then do what you do. Either you have AAA that can come out and give you enough gas to get to the gas station, or you walk to the gas station and get a gas can, get you some gas, come back. You have to keep going, whatever it is. You may have to deviate slightly from your plan, but stay on the plan. It's to plan your work and work your plan. That's the goal, with adjustments along the way. Lastly, the biggest advice I can give you is do not attach a time limit to it, because that's a grave error. I know some of you guys say, look, I want to be a nurse before I'm 25. I want to be a nurse before I'm 23. I want to be a nurse before I'm 30. I want to be a nurse before I'm 40. Here's some news for you. The average age of a registered nurse in the United States is 52 years old. It's going to take some time, especially with the competition. You want to make the best grades. Worst thing you can do is rush, because when you rush, you make mistakes. When you rush, you're not going to put your best foot forward. For me, my plan was PA school. I knew I had to have all A's. I didn't have a timetable attached to it. My timetable was attached to my goal, which was to get my associate's degree, to get my bachelor's degree. If I would have had to drop from 2 classes to 1, I would have did that. And that's what I did. I did all my nursing prereqs one at a time. My nursing prereqs just so happened to be my associate's degree in EMS. That was all my nursing prereq classes. I did them one at a time. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Do not rush this process. Take your time, make your plan, and work your plan, and just make little minor adjustments along the way. So hopefully you guys can get something out of it. If you guys got any questions, just hit me up. I'll respond. Also, keep liking the videos, keep sharing it, tell your friends, tell everyone about it. Also, make sure that you subscribe. So also, guys, here's what I tell you. You guys can make it. You just got to believe in yourself. Don't let others talk you out. And if they're not traveling the same path you on, don't listen to them. So with that being said, work your plan your work, and happy nursing. See you over top.